Forget this feeling. Like you're right there. Almost happy, but something's off.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the obvious stuff, but something inside us holding us back.
Interesting.
That's what we're diving into. 7 Paths of Non-Forgiveness and Unhappiness.
Catchy title.
Right. Don't worry, it's not as heavy as it sounds.
So this source, it's about more than just like forgive and forget, right?
Exactly. It's about how our reactions, even to ourselves, impact happiness. Deep stuff.
Yeah, we often blame outside things for unhappiness, but this flips the script.
Totally. It's like our thoughts about a situation can cause more pain than the situation itself.
It's true. In psychology, we call this negative self-talk. We get stuck in these patterns.
Okay, so example time. The source talks about this guy, Chuck.
Oh, right, Chuck.
His wife cheats, and he completely blames himself.
Yeah.
Like it's his fault because he wasn't exciting enough.
Classic example of that inward turn. Instead of processing, he's in a self-blame spiral.
And the source says that's unforgiveness at its core, not forgiving himself.
Which is so common, right? They're often our own harshest critics.
The worst. But, okay, enough doom and gloom. There are solutions too, right?
Absolutely. This one's wild, the reverse movie technique.
Reverse movie, like rewinding.
Kind of. You picture a painful memory, but while listening to, get this, upbeat music.
Wait, seriously. Like happy music while thinking about a breakup.
Yep. The idea is to mess with those automatic negative associations our brains make.
Huh. So instead of sadness with that memory, your brain's like, wait, shouldn't I be dancing?
Exactly. You're basically rewiring those neural pathways.
That's kind of brilliant. So it's not about ignoring the bad, but changing how we react to it.
Exactly. And another big one the source hit on, feeling incomplete without a partner.
Oh, I've been there. Post-breakup thinking, I need someone to feel whole again.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
But the source says that mindset, recipe for disaster.
How so?
Think about it. If you need someone to complete you, you're more likely to settle for less.
Yeah, or get stuck in those unhealthy patterns, clinging to anyone who shows interest.
Right. The key takeaway here is self-acceptance first. You're worthy of love, regardless.
So knowing your worth makes you less likely to settle for a relationship that's not right for you.
100%. It's about recognizing that true fulfillment, it comes from within.
Okay, self-acceptance, got it. But what about the people who've really messed us up?
Right. Like, how do you just forgive them?
That's got to be the hardest part.
It's tough, no doubt. This source puts it kind of intensely, actually.
Oh, so?
It basically says holding on to anger, it hurts you more than the other person.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Like drinking poison and hoping they die.
Right, right. It's us carrying that weight around.
Exactly. And it gets worse. The source goes into the physical effects of anger.
Oh, yeah, like your heart rate goes up, you tense up, all that.
Totally. Short term, that's our fight or flight response. But long term, no bueno.
So we're talking like chronic stress, health problems just from staying angry.
Ding, ding, ding. It's
Yeah.
wild, right? The source emphasizes this link between unforgiveness and, well, basically making yourself sick.
Okay, so holding a grudge is basically like a slow-release poison dart aimed at yourself.
Pretty much. Which is why the source gives us tools to deal with it, like right then and there.
Okay, what, like screaming into a pillow? Laughs a little.
Chuckles. Even better, breathing?
Breathing. Seriously.
It sounds too easy, but when you get angry, what happens to your breath?
Oh, right, it gets all fast and shallow.
Exactly. So by consciously slowing it down, you're telling your nervous system, chill out.
Like hitting the brakes on a runaway train of anger.
Perfect analogy. That pause, that deep breath, it gives you back control.
Interesting. So instead of reacting immediately, I can take a breath and then decide how to respond.
Exactly. Okay, now for a really tough one, revenge.
Ooh, yeah. The source talks about how tempting that can be.
It's human nature, right? They hurt me, I want to hurt them back.
But it almost never works out how we think it will.
Remember the poison. Even if we get revenge, we're still left with what?
The bad feelings. Like the bitterness of it all.
Right. It's like a boomerang. You throw it, makes a throwing motion.
Yeah.
Feels good for a second. Then it comes back and smacks you in the face.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, so not revenge. But we're not just saying it's cool what they did, right?
No way. The source is more nuanced. It's about shifting our focus from punishment to understanding.
That's a big leap.
It is. But think about it. Everyone makes mistakes. Maybe they need forgiveness too. You know.
So by focusing on understanding, we're kind of letting go of the need to be right about how wronged we were.
Exactly. And it frees up so much mental energy when you don't have to be right all the time.
That's true. But the source also talks about more subtle forms of negativity, right?
Oh, yeah, like what?
Like gossip, for example,
Yeah.
or constantly complaining.
Oh, right, those sneaky ones.
Sometimes it feels good in the moment to vent or whatever.
It can. But the source suggests sometimes it's us deflecting from our own unhappiness.
Oh, interesting. Like if I'm feeling bad about myself, it's easier to point out flaws in others.
Bingo. Makes you feel better. Temporarily.
But then, like, the gossip ends and you're still stuck with your own stuff.
Yep. So the challenge here is self-awareness. Am I gossiping to genuinely connect or to avoid my own issues?
Deep question. And speaking of perceptions, that takes us to a whole new area the source dives into. This next part really got to me. It's like how other people, even strangers, can mess with our happy vibes.
Oh, totally. The source goes deep on comparison, especially in the age of social media.
Ugh, the worst. Scrolling through, everyone's life is perfect, except yours.
Right. And then we start with the self-criticism, I'm not good enough, smart enough, fit enough.
The endless cycle of not measuring up. So how do we break free?
The source suggests a surprising tool, gratitude.
Gratitude, like being thankful for what we do have.
Exactly. They suggest keeping a gratitude journal. Write down things you're grateful for, even small stuff.
Interesting. So instead of focusing on what's missing, you're intentionally looking for the good.
Yes, it's about shifting your perspective, retraining your brain to see the positive.
I can see how that ties back to forgiveness too, right? Like if I'm more accepting of myself.
Exactly. It's easier to forgive others when you're not drowning in self-criticism.
Makes sense. But forgiveness isn't just about our personal hang-ups, is it?
Right, it gets bigger than that. The source tells the story about a woman, Elaine.
Oh yeah, on the train. After that bombing was in the news.
Yes, and she sees this guy wearing traditional clothing from a different culture.
And she totally judges him.
Right.
Based on nothing but what he's wearing.
It's a powerful example of unconscious bias. We all have them, shaped by our experiences, the media.
And the thing is, Elaine realized what she was doing. That's huge.
Huge. Instead of ignoring it, she uses it as a wake-up call.
She even ends up talking to the guy, right? And realizes how off base her assumptions were.
Exactly. The source uses this to show we can't just go off stereotypes or isolated incidents.
We have to check ourselves, be open to being wrong, especially with whole groups of people.
They put it really well, actually. You can't bear a grudge against the whole of a race because of the actions of one man.
Powerful stuff. So after this whole deep dive on unforgiveness, what's the big takeaway?
For me, it's how much unforgiveness holds us back. From happiness, from peace, even from our health.
It's like we become prisoners to our own anger, our own resentment, whether it's towards ourselves or others.
Exactly. And the source reminds us forgiveness is a process. It takes time, effort.
It's not about saying what happened was okay, but about choosing to release that negativity.
And choosing ourselves, choosing peace. It's a journey, for sure.
Well said. So to our listeners, as you go about your day, maybe ask yourselves,
what am I holding on to that's no longer serving me?
maybe it's time to let go. Take that step toward forgiveness. You deserve it.